How often we forget that there is just one life, just one life that we can call God or creative intelligence or whatever you want to call it, but there's just one that every one of us shares. We all share that same life, that same power for good. We share it. And the only reason we're different, we're all made of the same stuff, is we are a unique expression of that one. But how quickly we forget that we're all part of this together and we need each other. You know, it's not, you can feel it in your heart, but it's so important to tell people how much they matter. And I forget sometimes. And when I drive in for a service on Sundays and I see the stands up there, and Michael Fleischer, I saw you put them up today, and I always go, oh, thank you, Set Up and Take Down team, for putting our sign out in the morning. Thank you. And I come in, and Aida's standing there as our program coordinator, and she's holding the place, a little gal holding the big energy in the place and filling it with love. And our service coordinators, who are Bruce and Terry today, are there just buzzing around making things work. And our sound people are back in the booth working together to get the sound working and get our live streaming. And of course, our musicians are here filling the space with love. And I don't think there's any better sign that we need each other, you know? And we forget to say it. And so thank you, everybody. And then you fill the space with your energy, and we're here together sharing our good. How important it is. Mother Teresa says, when we find no peace, when we can't find it in our heart, in our mind, in our world, when we can find no peace, it's because we've forgotten that we belong to each other. How quickly we forget at times when things are difficult. The world gets painful at times. We feel lonely, we feel apart from things, and we forget that we're never alone. That song reminded us, that was Spirit singing to us, I'm always there for you, but we have to be open to it. We do need each other. We need each other to live, period, for all the things we need to grow, to learn, definitely to expand our compassion and understanding. And we're so much stronger together. We can make a bigger difference together. And our greatest need as humans, I believe, is to love and be loved. So, how have you felt loved today? And how have you shared love today? And if that's a missing piece for you, make sure you go do it when you leave. Okay? Share your love. Because that's going to uplift the energy, make life more peaceful. It's going to make it better for you and for me. It's like the song Gretchen was singing. When you give something away, it comes back to you even in greater form, greater energy. Maybe not by the same person or the same way, but it returns. It returns. So we need to love one another. But, you know, Jesus said that. Here's my next commandment. Love one another like I've loved you. So he demonstrated the love that people could share it and carry it on. Now, St. Paul was he was a stinker. He said things I wonder if saints should call people names, but St. Paul said, you're a liar. I might have worded it a little differently, but he said, you're a liar if you say you love God, but you don't love your neighbor. And I'd say it's just not understanding. It's a clog in the channel to our heart. That's what I'd say. Mother Teresa also said that the most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. Michael, you said it so beautifully this morning when you talked about the importance of finding God at the center of our being. That's where love is, that's where light is, that's where God is. And if we have clogged channels to that distance from the head to our heart, we don't feel the love that's present. It's interesting because our arms and hands are really an extension of the heart. And we use those arms to reach out. We use them, that's what they're meant for. And we can use them to reach out, to hug somebody, to touch somebody, to help somebody. But we can use those same arms push people away, to push things away. And Mark Nepo has a book called More Together Than Alone. And he talks about when we push people away and we pull people in. And here's what he says. He said, when things fall apart, and that's when we push people away, they make a lot of noise. Pushing things away, when things fall apart, it makes a lot of noise. When things come together, they're quiet. We're in a global culture that is addicted to the noise of things falling apart. You're different, go away. That's based in fear. And how often we fear things we don't understand. But how quiet is it when you say, you're different. Come teach me. Come tell me more. I want to know more about you. I want to understand. It's not just enough to tolerate when people are different or tolerate when people are a pain in the neck. It's important that we take time to understand because there's always more to the story. I remember one of the very first stories I heard how many years ago when Kirk and I first started in religious science, the story of the fish swimming in the water, misbehaving all by himself or herself or whatever, and the school of very well-behaved fish was swimming by, going, oh, look at that fish, doesn't know how to behave, doesn't know how to act, and it had a hook in its mouth, but they couldn't see it, and it was struggling for its life. How often it is that we don't understand the whole picture. So you and I need to be saying, thank God you're not me. Thank God you're not me. Together we're more than alone. The whole is greater than the parts. We need to be thinking, how are the channels between my head and my heart? How are the channels do I have them open? Am I reaching out for help? The same way we reach our arms out to say help. If we don't ask for help, we're not letting other people in either. So we need to learn how to get this working so you and I know we need each other. And that's what we're designed for. We're not alone here on this planet. Have you noticed? We are not alone. We are here together. Hafez says, God told me that I am made whole by your life. Each soul completes me. And when we work and live from that place, that center, when we clear the channels, it's like we have one hand in the hand of God and one reaching out to humanity. Meister Eckhart said, the soul, in that same place within us, has two faces. One that is always looking at God, and one that is always looking down at humanity. That's our spirituality and our humanity meet right here. We have to decide how well we're doing to participate in this thing we call life. One of the things, it was really interesting, we had a very beautiful celebration of June Crockett's life on Friday. Amazing woman. Her motto that she learned from her dad, she always wanted to be a beneficial presence. She loved making jewelry, creating beauty in the world. She loved fashion. But the thing that was her legacy that came out so strong was how much she loved to serve. And something I didn't know, and Marianne, I should have had you share this, was how at the end of her life at 94, it was important to her to donate her brain to UCI so they could study her brain to know how she had lived so long with full capacity for her life. She couldn't even leave this physical world without serving a greater purpose. And that's for all of us. I mean, we have to ask, when we're feeling alone and down and separated, how can I help? How can I serve? What can I do? What can I do for myself? I mean, if we're depleted and exhausted and need time, we need to say, how can I help myself? How can I serve myself? Because we won't see that good, that God, that love in others until we've fulfilled ourselves, cleared our pathways, taken care of ourselves. But then how can I help in the world? What am I here to do? There's something more. I have a little, it's called a peacemaking, it's a little peacemaking principle, and it's something we do to develop not only a strong relationship to God, to ourselves, but also to one another. I'm going to say these statements, and I want you to personalize them for yourself. When I embrace my wounds and allow them to heal. Think about your wounds and what there is. Have you done enough work? Is there more work to do? When I embrace my wounds and allow them to heal, I have no impulse to harm you, to injure you, because I've taken care of myself. When I understand my desire to be loved and lifted up, when I feel that need within me, that desire that I want to be loved, I want to be lifted up, then I refuse to tear you down. I won't do that because I know the importance of feeling uplifted and taken care of when I've done my work, when I've done what I need to do. When I think rightly about myself, who am I? As Hafez says, each soul completes me. He also went on to say, I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your being. It's there. So when I think rightly about myself, I am an individualized expression of this one life, this one power. I need not make you wrong. When I know who I am, I don't need to make somebody else wrong. When I cry for love, when my cry for love opens my heart's doors, I no longer close you out. Think of that. Think about how when we take care of ourselves, we make this world a more beautiful and wonderful place. But it's not just enough to do the work inside. It starts there at the center of our being, clearing the channels, knowing who we are, having a great relationship with Spirit. It's important to have all that. But if that's not expressed, it's meaningless. If we don't go out there and do our work and do our part. Yes, I bet if I asked everyone here, you'd say that pain runs deep. But if we get stuck in that pain and just live from that pain, we're closed off from the beauty of this world. If we've done our work to know that truly what we believe, that God is good and God is all there is. There's always something more at work because we're ever evolving and growing and becoming. There's always something more in our lives and in others. So yes, pain runs deep, but love runs so much deeper. And if it's hard, if you're in a tough place and it's really hard for you to love right now, even though you know it's there. Again, Mother Teresa says, give someone a smile. It's the start of love. So if that's all we can do, we can give someone a smile because that is the start of love. So I think today when we're talking about a world in need, a world that's noisy and loud because things are falling apart, there's a lot of quiet work being done, bringing things together. And we need to focus on those quiet parts because it was, I don't think I had that here, it was, I can't remember who it was, who said the space between the stimulus and the response, there's a quiet place. And if we step into that quiet place, before we make more noise in the world and get ourselves aligned with the good and the positivity and the love that we want to express, then this world becomes a better place. So right now, it's hard sometimes to know when to take a stand and when to sit down, when to hold on and when to let go. But if we have that channel going, we know when to take a stand and when to let go. And today we're going to take a stand, right, you guys? Hello, are you here? Okay, Gretchen's getting dressed. What was she doing back there? Oh my goodness, okay, TMI. We're going to take a stand today to unite our consciousness in a field of faith, because we are going to heal the world in our own place, that it can boil out, sprinkle out in just all over, and we can leave uplifted and stimulated. You're dressed. Oh, perfect. Okay, so if you want to stand on this one, we're going to take a stand because it's time. We're special. We're good. We matter. We can make a difference. And it starts